Member Spotlight, and today's guest is Lisa Munter from Knit. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. I love your business because as a business owner, I am like solicited, especially this time of year, on a daily for gift certificates and donations and raffles and gift certificates or just money in general. And I just love that this solution is in my life now. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what is Knit?
Okay. So I like to say that Knit is the Match.com for philanthropy. We are a web based platform that connects nonprofits and businesses in a more mindful and efficient way. We're really trying to capture the relationship behind the connections versus the transaction so we can build awareness of who each other is, where we are, and why we do the things that we do.
And why did you start this? I mean, I know that, like, I know I'm glad you did for me, but why did you specifically create this company?
Yes. So I spent the last like 15 plus years in the nonprofit space, volunteering. I currently am a board member for a few local nonprofits. And regardless of who I have helped, it's always like, where's our next level of support going to come from? We don't have enough bandwidth, time, money, people to be able to find our next level of sustainability. And then on the flip side, donors get inundated with requests. They're reactionary. They're not kind of keeping up with it. Maybe they don't have as much of an awareness of who is in their community or really how they want to give and how they want to show support and be viewed. So I was like, all right, I'm going to bridge this gap. By creating this software that will allow people to spend less time in the hamster wheel of finding each other and more time focusing on the relationships that make sense.
Oh my gosh, I'm about to sneeze. I knew it was
Bless
going
you.
away.
Bless you.
We're live, so I can't really. There's nothing I can do about it. They say sometimes like look up at the sky, but that didn't really. I mean, I guess it did work. I didn't sneeze, did I?
No, you did.
So okay. First of all, why like why in this way have you, so I guess what I want you to better explain is how individuals work with this platform, how nonprofits work with the platform, and also businesses, because what's really cool is once you get in there, and I almost maybe we should do like a screen share or something so people could see what it's like. But you basically get in there and then you're like automatically matched, and so it's everyone does like their own profile. It's almost, and it is just like, not that I know much about Match.com, but like you go in, you talk about all the interests that you have, and so it really does connect you directly with the philanthropy that would be important to you that you might not even know exists.
That's right. And again, it's just a deeper dive. And that's why we've created these profiles that ask questions that aren't always asked initially. A lot of times, nonprofits will see businesses with great big checks, with large amounts to another nonprofit. And they're like, oh my gosh, how do I get to be in front of that donor? Because they don't really understand the why behind they gave that amount. So, we wanted to be able again to be that warm leads connection. I really think of Knit as me in a software platform because I can't help everyone. So they just, donors go on, they fill out their profile, they get to ask specific questions. Nonprofits fill out the different organization classification they fall under, as well as all the subcategories. And that's the important thing. So many times nonprofits say, people think that we only do this, but we also do this and this, and we want to be able to capture that. So Knit allows you to be able to be matched even within your subcategories, because maybe and donors, sometimes they think that a nonprofit just does one thing and they don't realize that they offer six different programs that fall into other subcategories that are important to them. So again, it's just this realization of like, wow, I had no idea that you did what you did, and I would love to support you in some way. And I love that you asked, it's very Knit is very multifaceted. So it's the donor, and people all the time are like, well, what does that mean? A business donor is a business that gives to more than four organizations that maybe is looking for a more streamlined way of being able to collect their fundraising goal so they can view like who they are as a donor. It's like, wow, we gave away $5,000 in golf tournaments. Is that how we want to be looked in the community? Is that how we want to spend our money? And we only spent $1,000 on program based. Do we want to switch it up? More and more donors and businesses are trying to get their employees involved, give back days. And so many times they're like, we don't know who needs our support. Knit could help with that. And it also engages your employees of being part of your philanthropy picture. What's important to your employees to donate, which is why we also just are working as we speak to open it up to individuals. That was always on our roadmap to offer Knit to individual donors. But we were thinking we'll start with businesses first, but we're really trying to build a critical mass because it's only going to be as good as the people on there. So by opening it up to individuals, businesses can offer it to their employees or just regular individuals. Like, my husband and I, like my husband owns his own company with his brother. And so they give to specific organizations, but my husband and I also give to other things. So I would actually like Knit to be able to keep track of that as well. So that's what a donor is. It's a business that gives to multiple organizations. Maybe you're a business that gets inundated and you are just looking to just kind of minimize and you want to strategically like rethink of who maybe we just want to give to these two types of entities. If you're a business that's in a downtown that gets inundated with requests for silent auction items, gift certificates, I'm talking about the restaurants and the boutique shops and things like that. And they want to give back because their community is who supports them. But maybe it's just like, oh my gosh, like this is overwhelming. I want them to have a place where they can be able to see their giving. And I almost envision it as having like a Knit Klingon in their storefronts and says all of our philanthropy goes through Knit, because it's a knitted community. It's not about like segregating or separating people. It's really just about the collaboration and bringing a village together that makes sense for both parties involved.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, as a business owner, it has been just a godsend to be able to say, oh, even like currently, part of our communication strategy is at Paint and Sip, is when we get a solicitation about a nonprofit or a fundraiser or something, it's like, well, you need to connect with us on Knit. So it's really forcing people, nonprofits, to go back to that organization, that platform, and connect with us. So it allows us, I think a lot of times, as women business owners, it's difficult to tell people no. It's difficult to say, we've hit our budget. You feel guilty and bad. And this way, it really helps facilitate that conversation in a more professional way and in a more, like clear picture of like, these are the types of organizations that we support, and this is what's important to us. And if you are on Knit and connected with us, we're happy to help you out.
Absolutely. And what I love about Knit is that it really is just an additional resource to what's already out there. I get all the time, like, do you have competitors? And I said, I don't like to think of it as that way. I'm looking as an additional resource. So there are many amazing businesses that have their own foundations. There's definitely community foundations and things like that. I'm not looking to replace. I'm looking to be an additional funding sustainable source for these nonprofits, because as they go to these foundations asking for grants or for funding, that helps with one part of a very large pie. So then what I'm hoping for is to find strategic partners for businesses who do get inundated with requests from nonprofits, that in addition to what they can or can't do for them, they can say, and you should also go to, and here's Knit, because Knit could also get you in front of people that can also give you the support that you're looking for as well. And that's why I think it's so unique, because I'm not looking to replace anything that's already have a well-oiled machine. This is just kind of bridging that gap a little closer. And that's why I'm proud of it. And I'm looking for those partnerships and the businesses that can see the bigger picture and see me as being an additional added value to what they already do, as well as what, to the nonprofits that they support.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and who better to bridge the gap than you? I mean, you have experience on both sides of it, and I mean, Jesus, you do so much philanthropy and help and nonprofits. You're on, is it two boards? Or
Yeah, yeah,
and
currently
it's like you roll off of the board and you just get on another one, and it's like, wow, how do you find the time to do all this work, you know? And it's non-paid work. So so I think also that I wanted to point out how like you are a one-woman show. You have one employee, right? Is that correct? Who you just brought on maybe in the last 6 months?
Yeah, I do have 2 employees. I do have a full-time, UI guy, and he's down in Georgia, and Kevin is amazing, and then I have my community relations manager, Heather LaFountain, who is up here helping me, just cultivate these relationships and get the word out and getting people to sign up as well. And it was so interesting. I had a great conversation with somebody like a week ago, and they said, it's like you are building an airplane in the sky, because I am at first in the space to be able to connect some of these much needed dots and pulling all these different little pockets that we could actually, if we can work together, will be an easier way for nonprofits to be able to reach that sustainable funding or relationships that they're looking for, and for those donors to also be able to have the impact of their support as well. So when you're the first in the space to do this, it definitely is a daunting task. And I feel like I pick up knit and I go to one sandbox and I'm like, do you want to play? And it's like, oh, this isn't really working. Okay. And I pick it up and I go to the next sandbox. And I'm going to keep doing that because I really believe in the mission of knit and the importance and the need in this space for sure.
Yeah. So explain to people how they can get involved. They just go to Getting It and set up a profile. Do you have to be invited? Is there costs? Like kind of go through that.
Yes. So right now you just go to my website, which is getnit.com. I think it's at the bottom of the screen. And on the top right hand corner, there's a register here. We make the barrier to entry very easy. It's free to sign up for donors. And then for nonprofits, we do ask nonprofits to, it's $50 and we vet them out. We have a multi-step vetting out process, making sure they're true 501c3s, that they're in good financial standing, because that's sometimes a reason why donors will not give to a new organization, or that's new to them. So we wanted to remove that. And it's like the knit seal of approval that these are legit, because my other goal is to remove the barrier of zip codes, because that is a problem that nonprofits, we all tend to fall into. We just tend to seek out the same businesses and donors in our community, and we're all fighting for the same dollars. But by removing that zip code, we're allowed to be connected to people who want to support our mission and be like, wow, I didn't realize that that law firm 30 miles away would want to support my cause. And in turn, that law firm's like, I had no idea that this nonprofit even existed, and I want to help.
Yeah, I mean, in speaking of that, is there like, do you already have like one of like just an incredible story of how you've connected these two entities? I'm kind of putting you in the hot seat now, but I'm like, you must have like endless stories of people that you've connected and allowed for them and like facilitated them helping each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, like we just launched at the end of October. So, total transparency, it's not like this critical mass of, oh my gosh, I'm definitely not at a Facebook status or even close. But even just in the short amount of time, it's just there are connections being made, new knit connections and new relationship discovery. And that's really great, because it was all within just a quick to get an email saying, hey, you have a new knit, and being able to see like who that business is or who that nonprofit is, and then starting a relationship. So my goal is to be able to have many more of those success stories as we're rolling this out, to be able to include individuals, as well as a couple pilot studies that we are going to be embarking on in the next couple months, which will be very exciting.
Awesome. Yes, I'm so psyched for you because I mean, when we first got connected and met about it, you know, you were in such the infancy. You were like almost in the ideation phase of it, like coming up with the concept and the idea and trying to build it and put it together. And so to see it out in the world now and see people using it, and I mean, I get my emails all the time, like, you got to knit, you got to knit. It's so exciting. And again, just as such an easier way for me to facilitate my giving from a personal standpoint and through business. Tell me, why did you join Palette, and how has it supported you through this journey?
Yes. So I love Palette because you've created an ecosystem, what I'm trying to create in philanthropy. And it's just bringing together dynamic people, you know, who want to make a difference. And you're giving them a place to be able to meet one another, to collaborate. I love that, you know, what you and Marcella have done in regards to workshops for info sessions, things that you're just always desperately wanting to know. And you make it so easy where, you know, it's just like, yes, it's like you read my mind. And I just love being part of this collaboration and just this judgment free, empowering, like supportive group of people that just really want to see you succeed. And when you are a new entrepreneur who has a lot of self doubt or imposter syndrome, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? I love going to Palette and just being reminded, like, oh no, you got this, girl. You're going to keep going. So I love that Palette has given me the opportunity to meet people that I never would have had the opportunity, and I'm just very thankful for being part of this amazing organization that you've created.
Yeah, and thank you for letting us be part of your, you know, your journey. I mean, I only know what I know from what I've done and created on my own self. So it's not like I have endless, you know, I don't know everything. And so it's great to kind of like be connected with other founders who are also building something, who are putting themselves out there, you know, like I was telling somebody the other day, somebody's like, oh, everything you touch turns to gold. And I'm like, that couldn't be farthest from the truth. Okay. Like I don't, and I do feel like I'm pretty straight transparent about all the, you know, snafus that have happened. But,
Yeah.
you know, I get told no on a regular basis, like multiple times a day. And it's almost like I live in that place where people tell me no all the time. And you just have to, you know, keep on getting back up and getting out there. And, you know, eventually you got to go through the no's to get the yeses. So
Oh,
I know you are feeling, I mean, I know, I'm sure you have the same experience, right?
yes, yes. And I have to say, like last week at the Albany Business Review Women's Summit, when Dr. Shea spoke, I'm her message and her quote really I felt like was meant for me. And she said, rejection means redirection. And I was like, oh, I just needed to hear that because rejection is hard and it's uncomfortable and it makes you question, like, am I doing the right thing? And but I loved that she was like, no, it's redirection to where you're supposed to be. So that like really helped give me focus of like, okay, and it won't be for everyone, or they might not understand it at this moment, but I'm just going to keep plugging along until it does make sense to the right groups because I believe in it and it will make a difference in the philanthropy space. So, and just being able to be connected to powerful people like that is really huge. And being able to go to a table like that you created, you're like, and that again, I love that. It's just out of your comfort zone and you make it so easy because you just send it out to all the Palette members and you're like, hey, like who wants to go? We can get a table. And so it's easier to say yes when you know that you kind of have a village that will be there to just a familiar face and it makes it easier to be in those situations. So I appreciate that you give that opportunity to your members.
Yeah, and you know what's funny at that event is I ended up not sitting at that table. Like I just kept on giving away seats at the table. I ended up sitting somewhere else. And it's just, you know, I really love connecting people. But the other point that I wanted to make a note of is like some people don't want to be helped, right? Like some people do not want the help. They want to do it all on their own. They want to stand up there on the pedestal they built themselves and they did it. And that's just not me. And that's not, I don't think that's you either. I'd much rather do all the succeeding and all the goal getting and all the ambitiousness and, you know, just accomplishing things with other people because it's just so much more fun that way. And man, it's priceless. It's priceless to have somebody side by side, shoulder to shoulder with you, going after something together. And it's I mean, that's why I do what I do every day, because it's just so much fun to see other people just kicking ass, taking names, and hitting, getting it done, you know. And
Yes.
um,
Yes. It does. It literally takes a village without like sounding so cliche. But I think with my background being a special ed teacher, I knew that it took multiple educators in order to help with the success of a student. And for me, I am like, okay, I have this great platform that I've created from something that I know could be a solution, but I don't know everything. So I'm always like, hey, I could use somebody in this space that is, has more background in this than me. Would you like to help and support? Who do you want to help and support? I am not shy about that because I cannot do this by myself. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
yeah, well, you're not doing it by yourself. We're right there with you, and I can't wait to see how it continues to evolve and grow. And I implore you to like start putting these case studies together, because I mean, you're going to be helping so many people just get out of their own way,
Yes.
and get connected to the people that want to help them and will help them, and have also been looking for them too.
Absolutely, and I've had to tell a couple people, it's so funny, like, one of the donors, like, signed up, like, 2 months ago, but hasn't really done a lot with their profile, and I ran into him, and he's like, "I know, I have to do it. It's just, like, I need time." I said, "It takes less than 10 minutes," but you know what it is? It's just that even though we know we wanna make change, it's just getting into the habit of doing something different. It's like when you start working out and you're just like, "Oh, this is so uncomfortable. I don't want to do it." And then after a few days, you're just like in the groove and you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I complained that, I wanted to work out." So I'm like, just get in there and just play around. Like it's free. Like just try it because this is going to be a game changer. And you're going to be like, you know what? I hope that more people will be like, I can't imagine my life before knit
Yeah.
because this has really helped me out.
Yeah, and I mean, and just a reminder, like the people who don't get in there and work that profile and fill it out, like they're in their own way, and
Yeah.
those people do exist, unfortunately, in the world, but they're not your people. So,
Yeah. Right,
it's
right.
exciting to see the whole thing like just come to life and be out in the world now. So, anybody who is interested in learning more about Lisa or knit, you can go to her website, www.getknit.com. She is also a palette member, so she's all over the palette page on our Instagram and website and stuff, and also follow on Instagram at Get Knit. Anything else you want to add, or just like parting words of wisdom?
Yeah, no, I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So you can find me under Knit on LinkedIn or Lisa Munter. And I'm always happy to have a conversation because I know a lot of times people are like, I don't understand it 100%. So just reach out to me. I can give you a quick 10-minute demo. It's really easy. And if nothing else, it's just about understanding like who you are and who's out there and, how we can support in multiple ways. So I really appreciate your time today, Catherine. And, from one connector to another, it's always a pleasure.
Yes. Oh, same, same, same. Thank you so much for being here, and stay tuned, everyone. We're going to be doing more member spotlights. We have so many people who join this week. It's the end of we're coming up on the tail end of Women's History Month, where our memberships are half off for a year. Like now is really such a great opportunity to get in here and test the waters of what it feels like to collaborate on a daily basis, connect with other people who are just like picking up what you're putting down. And obviously, like I'm around, I'm very accessible on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and all the places. So thanks for tuning in, and